In this video, I want to get as many platinums as I can in a span of 10 days. I've set some rules to make this challenge a bit more interesting, so let's take a look. Rule number 1 is going to be no shovelware allowed, cause it wouldn't be fun if I did like a bunch of 30-second platinums and stuff like that. Rule number 2 is no region stacking or auto pops. Rule number 3 is that the games have to go from 0% to platinum. Rule number 4 is that games should take at least 2 hours to platinum. And lastly, I failed the challenge if I earn less than 10 platinums by the end of the 10 days. So without further ado, let's get into the challenge. So today is November 13th and it's 6:04 right now. So I have until 6:04 of November 23 to finish the challenge. So let's get into it. The first game that I decided platinum was Lake. It looked pretty and fairly easy with an estimated 6 hours to platinum. Lake only has 12 trophies, including the platinum, but 11 of them are missable and 3 are related to different endings you can get. The story revolves around this lady named Meredith. She works at a company developing software, but she takes some time off to house sit for her parents in the little town she grew up, and she gets a job there while she's in town. Which, I mean, wasn't she on time off? Looks like Meredith's a bit of a workaholic. After a bit of a tutorial, the next day begins, and with that comes a trophy. Good morning. Okay, so this is the only non-missable trophy in the whole game. This game is pretty chill. You just drive around delivering mail and looking at the beautiful scenarios. Even the missable trophies aren't that bad, to be honest. Okay, so let's get a trophy right here. If you follow this path, you'll get to a church, and Meredith will say some stuff, and then you get one of the missable trophies.
Oh, I remember this place.
Higher ground. Okay, so we met with uh, Meredith's friend here on the day before, and since now it's marked on the map, we just have to climb the tower to the top to get one trophy. Okay, Tower Watcher. There is a point where her boss, Steve, calls her because he needs help with some stuff revolving around the project she was working
All
on.
right, here we go
Since
again.
Meredith is a workaholic, there is a trophy for helping Steve out. There's two parts for this one, since once you help him, he's gonna ask you another favor in a later date. Workaholic. I said she was a workaholic, I knew
Morning,
it.
Miss Wise.
And you also get some progress on other missable trophies in the following days, but they're just going to pop later in the game, like the one for helping Nancy test the camera, and the one for delivering the movie boxes. Now, with all of the trophies except the three for the different endings, I had one last day of deliveries before making the final decision. For the first one, I went with the ending that I wanted to,
And by me.
which was
So,
getting the
this
RV
whole
and
pretty
going on a
girl.
road trip with Angie.
Sorry for
Then
butting
I
in.
did the other two.
Sorry for butting in, folks, but
Life
I
in the
got a
fast lane,
special treat for you.
and
I just updated my plane.
delivery status complete.
This one's
Okay,
called
so that's
For My
one
Girl,
down.
Kev.
The next game I picked was Carto. This one has 20 trophies including the platinum, with 7 of them being missable. Luckily, you can get them through chapter select, but I wanted to try to do it in one go. This is a sort of a puzzle game where you have to find parts of a map and build it. But the way you build the map influences the world, cause you're building the world through the map. The concept is simple, the game not so much, although you can figure it out with some trial and error. And it's so cute. All the trophies you can miss are related to specific actions you can take, like giving moral support to this plant, poking a cactus a bunch of times, creating a fire tornado, catching a strange fish, or reading all of the books available in the game. Some of these actions will give you a puzzle piece, and when you collect them all, you unlock a secret in the game. So after being done with the story, I went into secrets and got a trophy, as well as the platinum. Next up was The Wild at Heart, another game that I knew absolutely nothing about, but got my attention because it looked adorable. This game takes around 10 hours according to PSN profiles, and since I was at the second day of the challenge with 2 platinums already, I wasn't too worried about picking up some games that took a little bit more time. The story is about a 12-year-old boy that runs away from home and ends up lost in the woods. He meets some new people and these tiny forest creatures that have a mechanic similar to Pikmin. We got some miscellaneous trophies as well as some for doing the story. And then, with the main story done, there was some major cleanup to be done. I had to find all of the cats, all of the relics, listen to all of the tips, and all of the gossip, do all of the bounties, and upgrade everything. And there were also the miscellaneous trophies like staring at this waterfall for a few seconds, or trading with the dude inside the trash can.
So now I just have to get this last upgrade for the trophy. Hal Jordan, who? And all the trophies, probably.
I was now on day 4. The last game took a while to complete, so I was starting to fall behind. There was another game that was a bit longer that I wanted to play, but I wasn't sure if playing it at that time would make me fail the challenge, so I decided to wait a bit. Instead of that, I chose The Gardens Between for my next platinum. To be honest, my first impression of it was that it was a super weird game with a super weird mechanic. You basically just move the analog stick to the left or to the right. If you go right, they walk forward, and if you go left, they walk backwards, like they're going back in time. And then you press X to interact with some of the things in the environment. So every level is some sort of a puzzle. There is not much to say about this game. The trophies are very simple. Basically, all you have to do is finish each level that has 2 or 3 puzzles each, and find the little cube robot hidden in each memory, as well as performing some specific actions, which aren't hard at all since the trophy description gives you a hint or straight up tells you what has to be done. The ending is super sad, and the game has an interesting way of telling the story without any text or dialogue. And thinking about it, I think that's all the game is. It's like a story, but with something for you to do with your fingers. So now, with 4 platinums for the challenge and a weird sad feeling, I had to play something a bit happier or funnier to even it out.
This is a noir detective game where the whole story is a case that you have to investigate and solve. And all of the characters are animals fused with humans. It's the weirdest thing. We've got chickens, dogs, rats, cats. It's as brilliant as it is awful. And it's for sure the most unconventional concept I've ever seen in a game.
So, right at the start, we got 2 trophies. One for getting 1 star when questioning the witness, and one for getting 5 stars in questioning. So, as you can see, this game is very, very weird. It's on that sweet spot where it's so weird and so bad, it's actually kinda good, as long as you don't take it too seriously. It's very dramatic. The narrative and the pauses in dialogue give me a Sin City vibe, although the story is nowhere near similar. There are a bunch of collectibles in the game, like novels, art, people to meet, and all of them are required for the platinum. There are also some miscellaneous trophies, and I got one right here. And then another for entering this diner. I kept doing the story and I found it quite interesting to be honest. The trophies started popping left and right when I was nearing the end. But no platinum. So after the credits roll, I saw that I managed to miss three trophies, even following a guide, which got me a little frustrated, not gonna lie. So I had to start a new game to get them. I was able to get two of them very early on the game, but the last one for the platinum had me playing the whole game again until the end. And then finally, I got it.
The next one was Call of the Sea, another short one that caught my attention, this time because of the cover art that looked absolutely stunning.
The story is about this woman in the first half of the 1930s. She got a music box when her mother passed, and she's been having strange dreams since then. She also has some sort of disease that's been afflicting her family and now herself, and she goes to an island that she saw in a dream to try and make sense of all of it, as well as to look for her husband that went to the island before her and is now missing. This game has a bunch of those trophies you can easily miss, but thankfully there is a chapter select. I was hoping to do everything in one go anyway, but if I ended up missing something, I wouldn't have to replay the whole game. There were some trophies that I found quite funny in this game, like this one where you can find the developer's logo in a wall, and Nora says a fun line if you interact with it.
I believe this symbol means humble gawker of glamorous indie games. Brilliant.
This one where you play the notes of Nora's music box in Chapter 3, even though it only shows up on Chapter 4. And this one right at the end of the game, when you find a key for another
This
Easter
one
egg.
just appeared out of the blue.
The game is full of puzzles and things to see, and Nora takes note of basically everything, so there are trophies attached to that.
The door to the
There are also trophies for finding some hidden items in the
started an
chapters
earlier voyage, long before Harry's expedition.
and for doing some specific actions.
Well, that cartoon was.
The end of the game was quite sad for me, no matter which one I chose. And there is a scene after the credits of one of the endings giving you this trophy, and then the platinum.
We are on day 7 now, and if I keep this rate up, I'm failing this challenge, like for sure. So for now, the game that I was playing for Platinum number 7 will stay as a DNF of some sort, and I'll pick it up again, probably, after playing some other game.
The game I chose was Life is Strange True Colors. I was curious about this game since I saw a trailer
You
for
said
it a
that
few
you
years
had a
ago.
nice place. I was
At that
curious
time, I
now.
had never
Tell
played
me.
any game from the
Well
series,
then,
despite a lot of people
welcome to our
saying that
crib.
they were very good and that the story was amazing. But now, with two platinums for the series under the
Seriously?
belt, I
This is
felt like this
great.
was going to be a good choice. The game is super simple trophy wise. You just have to finish the chapters and get the collectibles. There are some chapters that also have one or two side quests, but they are super easy and super
Oh,
fast.
you posted about a lost dog.
The
What did it
story is
say?
where the game really shines, cause that's basically all that is. An interactive story, but a very nicely written one. So after getting all of the collectibles and finishing the game, I got a
Traditionally, you
platinum.
give roses to your crush at the spring festival. So,
I've never had a girl give me flowers before.
I'm sorry. I didn't know you cared so much about traditional gender roles. I'll get back to my.
Okay, so we are on day 8, and this is going to be platinum number 8 as well. So right now I'm kind of currently failing the challenge, but we're going to play Last Stop and see if it's good.
This game has 15 trophies that you can miss on your playthrough, but that can be achieved in chapter select as well. As always, I'm going to try to get all of them in one go for the sake of time efficiency.
This game is like a modern little adventure with some paranormal and some sci-fi thrown in the mix. The story revolves around three characters that get involved with the same kind of people in different ways. John is a single dad and a normal dude with a normal life, but a misunderstanding in the subway makes him switch bodies with his neighbor, Jack, and they have to work together to not only find a way to switch back, but also have no one find out what happened to them. His chapters have some pretty funny dialogues, like this one tied to a trophy. Donna is a teen girl with teen problems. She and her friends have the very dumb idea to follow a dude that's 100% a creep and that becomes obsessed with her in a very weird way, manipulating her through the story. Most of her trophies are dialogue based, but this one was like a minigame, and probably the only somewhat challenging trophy in the whole game.
Okay, Becky, what would you rather do? Be put in prison for
Okay,
10
let's
years,
try to get a
or
trophy here. I have
20
to
mil
hit
in
7
criminal
items
taxes,
using one bottle
or
each.
get the 20 mil up front
And I
and
failed a
quit
bunch of
crime
times
altogether?
already.
What
So,
are you on about?
Come on, which one would you take?
I wouldn't take either. They're both
okay,
pretty
that's
bad.
one.
Probably take
And
the 20
that's
mil up
two.
front, live it up on a yacht.
But you die
I always
in
missed
real
this one.
life.
Yeah, I know.
Like a really
Oh,
horrible
yeah.
slow death entire time.
That's okay.
Okay, that's four.
And you
I have to find a cup, a camera. Okay, so here's the cup. Here's the sign. Okay. Okay, here's the camera. Baller. Okay. And lastly, we have Mina, who is an awful person, an awful mother, and an awful partner that works in a super classified project, although most of her story is focused on how self centered she is. All of her trophies are quite simple, so there's not much to highlight here. The game has 6 chapters for each character, and then a final one that ties everything together when the three of them meet, somewhat solving their problems and giving you a choice for each one of them. There is no right or wrong in this, and they don't affect the platinum, so I went with what I thought they deserved. I really enjoyed this one. The story got me hooked from the start, and although simple, it was a super enjoyable game. So, after finishing the story, I got this trophy, and since I did everything else, I also got the platinum. It is day 9 now, and I have 8 platinums, so not looking too good. But I got this game. It's supposed to take like around 2 hours, and I know like nothing about it, but let's see if it's any good. And even if it's not, like for 2 hours, I'll take it. So this is kind of a weird game. It's a roguelike where this bunny fights his way to rescue animals from a testing lab, and then you have to fight a boss there. And that's it. I think it could be a little longer because it is kinda fun, although the game itself is very laggy and crashes a bunch. There is basically nothing to do after beating the boss, just some cleanup, so it's a very simple and quick platinum for this one. Platinum number 10 was actually supposed to be platinum number 7. I started this game on day 6, right after I was done with Call of the Sea. I wanted to play something a little lighter on the feels, something with like some violence and something that I didn't have to think a lot. So Tekken 7 seemed like a good option at the time, although I had never played Tekken before. I'm quite bad at fighting games, even though I enjoy them, but I wanted to give this a try for the challenge. So the first thing I did was play through the story mode and try to learn some attacks. There are online trophies in this game, something that doesn't make me too happy, but they seemed simple enough that I probably was able to get them after playing everything else. The story was so bland. I got the trophies related to it and a few other ones, until I reached the epilogue where I got this trophy. Next step was to play the special chapter and the 10 character episodes, getting their respective trophies. Then I went into Treasure Battle, where I was aiming to get Warrior rank and also open 50 treasure boxes. It took me more than I would like to admit, but after a while I was able to get the treasure boxes,
but not the warrior rank. The thing is, I was getting pretty stressed with the game, and I didn't like it too much. Part of it because I'm very, very bad, and part of it because to me the characters felt heavy and slow. I knew very well that forcing myself to play a game I didn't want to could derail the whole challenge, so I needed a break from it. I came back to the game after Life is Strange to give it one more chance. I wanted to clean up some of the easier trophies to see if that would motivate me to not abandon this game. I also decided to leave Warrior rank for last and do whatever else I could so I didn't get super burned out without achieving anything. I went for some of the easiest trophies first to give myself a boost. So the first one was to perform a 10 hit combo 3 times, then the one for dealing a total of 1000 damage in rage mode, and some other ones like the 50k damage on practice mode and so on. I was still missing some stuff after those. Basically, all online trophies, the trophies for Brawler and Warrior rank, and the trophy for defeating Akuma on arcade mode or special battle. So I dropped the game again, but this time with the intention of actually finishing it after playing some other stuff. I picked it up again on day 9 after finishing Bunny Raiders. I went for the online trophies first, so I could get rid of something I didn't really want to do right away, instead of dreading it when it got to that, and that was the only thing left. They were okay. It was harder finding people to play with than getting the trophies, to be honest. So right after that, I jumped onto Treasure Hunt again. If I managed to get Akuma while ranking up, I was going to be done and could move on. But of course, that didn't happen. With lots of sweat and lots of anger, I finally was able to get to warrior rank, although no Akuma encounter, so I had to go to arcade mode. To fight Akuma there, you just have to get one perfect in any of the first 4 fights, finish all of them somewhere under 3 minutes, and not use any continues. So after some tweaking and a few tries, this happened.
Okay, so that was the last one. And I'll get everything back. Okay, that's platinum number 10. I currently have 10 platinums, which means I've succeeded in this challenge per one of the rules. But the challenge itself was to see how many platinums I could get in 10 days. And these 10 days aren't over yet. So that means it's time for the next game.
Superliminal is a super weird puzzle game with lots of forced perspective and optical illusions, where you have to enlarge or reduce objects in order to go to the next room. Its trophy list is also a bit weird, with trophies like dropping a soda can and popping it, holding an object for 2 minutes straight, or throwing sodas on trash cans. It has a bunch of collectibles that can thankfully be acquired in Chapter Select, as well as 2 speedrun trophies. You kinda have to think outside the box to solve these puzzles, which I thought was kinda interesting since I've never seen a game like this before. I was very confused at times, but in the end, the game is about how you look at things. And it's very weird and very, very trippy.
There were only 2 trophies left when this happened. So right now I have 10 platinums and second was the 10th one. The thing is, I finished it yesterday and I had like a few more hours to play because I finished it kind of late. So I had until today, I had around like 5 or 6 hours to play. And I started to play another game to try to get a platinum for that for this video still. But right now it's 6:30 p.m. So I believe it's after the time that I started the challenge, so that means that even if I platinum this game, it is not going to count, which is kind of sad because the game is super fun and just like There is a speed run that you have to do, and I've tried 2 or 3 times by now, and my times suck because I play very slowly. So I am going to wrap the video right here and record the outro when it's day, because as you can see, it's kind of dark right now. But 10 platinums in 10 days, it's still okay. I think it's still good for me.
1 week later.
Okay, so it's been like 6 days since that last part, and I'm currently editing the video. And I thought to myself, like, I can't leave this game unfinished. There are only 2 trophies left, and okay, I suck at speedrunning games, but I just can't leave it like that. Even though it won't count for the challenge, because like the day the challenge ended was a while ago. I still want to finish it and include this platinum in the video, even though it doesn't count. So I'm going to get a few tries here and let's see if I can get the platinum today.
And after probably 6 or 7 tries, I finally got it.
Yes! Speedrunner, Superluminal, and Perception is Reality. Oh god, I've tried so many times. Here are all of the 10 platinums I was able to get in this challenge. I honestly could spend a while talking about all of these games, especially my favorite ones. Some games ended up being like a very nice surprise, and I probably wouldn't have played most of them if not for this video, which is kind of sad to think about because there are some hidden gems here. I gotta make at least a top 3 so I don't spend like a bunch of time talking about these games again. So let's start from the bottom. Third place belongs to Chicken Police. Hands down, it's one of the weirdest games I have played in all my life. And it's like a mix of Sin City and kind of like the taste of dry martinis and Frank Sinatra playing in the background, but with animal heads in human bodies, and they take the lead. There is much of this game that's there just to explain the world, like the lore and how it works, without it being actually relevant to the story. And I think it was so interesting that if this had a sequel, I wouldn't hesitate in playing it. The mystery of the story was like kind of basic, especially if you read your fair share of detective novels, but it had me hooked anyway. So it's it's a good game, but it's also kind of a bad game, but it's a good game because it's bad. Number 2 in this ranking goes to Call of the Sea because it's pretty. The story is something like out of a cosmic horror book with a twist, and there's something to see and to read at every point of the gameplay. And it's just like so well made, and it was such a nice surprise to play this game. And this totally became like one of my favorite indies of all time. And lastly, The Wild at Heart takes the first place for me. This is a complete game with a story, with combat, with puzzles, with collectibles, with a boss fight. And I took my time with it, taking way more than the 10 hours that got said it would take, because I wanted to search every part of the map by myself. And it's such a lovely game that I think everybody should play it. And that's it for this video, guys. If it goes well, I plan on doing another one of this sometime in the future. Probably like with a higher plat requirement in the rules. Probably 11 or 12 minimum not to fail, but in 10 days as well. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. See you soon. Ciao.